read what you want. Read what you enjoy reading. And don't let anybody shame you for it.
All right, we getting started?
Yeah, let's roll.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Lucia.
Katie.
And Mary.
And welcome to Book Talk, and where we get to read books and we get to discuss them. And for this month of November, we decided to check out Cassandra Claire's Swordcatcher. I almost said Sword Swallow. Why? Because that's what I've been calling. Because that's what I've been calling it for
Ridiculous.
The longest time. But our resident Cassandra Claire BFF, Katie, please.
She is my best friend.
Yes, please let us know about this book and everything, and yeah, let us know.
So this is Cassandra Claire's debut adult fantasy novel. It is about the city-state of Castellane, and the two main characters are Kellyan, who is the sword catcher, and Lynn, who is a magic-wielding physician from the Ashkar people. And basically their stories intersect. There's some betrayal, there's some murder, there's a weird amount of kissing.
It's a strange amount of kissing.
They want that mono.
A lot of kissing.
They want mono.
But not with the same person is what I mean.
Yeah. A lot of political talk, jargon, what have you. But super compelling still. I do have currently 7 different copies of this book.
Yes.
There's an 8th on the way.
If you can see
slowly
Mary,
showing you.
what is Mary?
Yes.
What is in your hand? What copy is that?
So this is the Owl Crate edition that I originally didn't want because the proofs kind of looked not great, but is beautiful in person.
I agree, it's very beautiful.
It's stunning.
Yeah. However, my favorite is definitely the Illumicrate edition.
Yes.
Like, look at this beautiful edge. This one's also got beautiful end papers.
Nice.
And then, I mean, come on. Look at this. Look at this.
It's very nice. I'm not gonna even lie.
Beautiful, right?
So the first 2 editions we showed were the Barnes & Noble exclusive, which had that gold rim. And then the standard edition that had that black trim. Mm-hmm. And then we did Owl Crate and Illumicrate. And what else do we got over there, Katie?
I have the Arc that I paid far too much money for.
Yeah. That people got for free.
Needed it.
I tried to get one for you, I'm sorry.
True.
It
I
fell
have
through.
the Waterstones exclusive edition, which is black sprayed edges. Mm-hmm. And then this has also got beautiful embossing on the cover.
Nice.
Which is so fun.
And then we have the BAM exclusive, which is black. And this has embossing too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Hey, Katie, would you say that Cassandra Claire is your favorite author?
Yes.
I don't know. I think with the 7 editions she has currently and the 8th that's on the way with Fairy Loot.
To be fair, the 8th was an accident because it's technically part of their monthly box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're like
An accident.
a happy
She
accident.
deserved it anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God I had the foresight to order this for her.
True.
It's like, she's gonna regret not buying this. I'm gonna buy it.
So I will have every English edition, I'm pretty sure.
You just gotta learn multiple languages and
So
you
what's this
can
book
buy them
about?
in that language.
It's got far too much kissing.
What was that?
I said, I only have the one copy that we all have,
Oh, that
but
you-
that's all
that you
special because why is this particular? Yes, I dropped it on accident this morning. But why is this particular copy that I'm holding that you two both have special? Why is it special?
Oh, because we met her at New York City
Yeah.
Comic Con.
Yes.
Insert pictures of us meeting her now.
Yes.
Yeah, remember, Lucia, to insert those photos now. Yes, we actually
It's
got
signed,
to meet Cassandra
and
Claire.
then it has
Yeah.
a fucking poster in it.
Well, all the Barnes Noble ones have these, but
Yeah, other Barnes & Noble ones do, but it's got double-sided.
and mine has a fingerprint smudge on the spine or the edge.
Yeah.
My book also has finger smudges.
From when you read it.
Yeah, but that's from you,
Show off
not
the
from
damage.
Cassandra Claire.
Oh, so that means you can totally grab her, prints and make a clone.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's a partial print.
A partial print, yeah.
I believe
But
in you,
this
Katie,
book
that you can do it.
follows an orphaned child turned body double.
Yes. So Swordcatcher is basically he has this magic talisman from the Ashkar people that makes him appear to be Prince Connor to those who aren't aware of the talisman. So like the royal family and their like head guard and their advisor are aware of the talisman, but nobody else is.
Yeah.
So when Connor's life is threatened, Kel steps in to protect him, basically.
Which is quite often for the plot of this book. Like,
yeah.
He has a few speeches he has to do, and they're like, no, we don't trust it. Bad vibes. You get to do it.
Yeah.
You don't trust the people.
Like, one of the first scenes is that happening.
Yeah. What I think is really interesting, though, also, is how they play Kel as a character, is that he's, like, his cousin.
Yeah, so, like, when he's not being Prince Connor, he's
Yeah.
just his orphan cousin from his mother's homeland. Because Connor's mom isn't from Castellane. She's from another city-state.
Yes.
Another fun fact is that they sleep in the same bedroom, and they always have.
Yeah.
And I don't think Connor ever wants him to leave, even when he finally gets married.
Right,
Sometime
yes.
in the future. He's be like, no, you can stay. Maybe we'll put you in, like, your own separate room within the rooms, but you still live here. You're mine.
There is a platonic love or a brother-like love between the two of them that is, like, very strong and weird in its own way. And I mean, they grew up together, like, side by side, as if they've
met since they were
the same
10
person.
years
Like,
old.
they learned all the same stuff. They were expected, because Kel has to step in for Connor, so they have to, like, be able to be the same person. So they're very, like, connected in that manner.
Yeah. What I really liked was how fierce Connor took to protecting Kel from the very beginning. Where if, like, the amount of times that, I think it was the king or whoever the, like, step down was, wanted to, like, get rid of him so many times. It was like, he's definitely not worthy.
Yeah.
And Connor was like, if he breaks his arm, I'll snap my own for you to make sure that we have the same injuries so that our bodies match up. He gets a cut, I'll make the same cut to myself if I have to. I'm like, bro, chill.
There was
Like,
so
he
much
was
intrigue
so
in this.
Fiercely protective from the very beginning, and I love it.
I kind of
Definitely
wish
a very fun bond.
a part of me wishes we got more, that we got more of Connor's side of how he feels versus, and I'm sure we'll get that more in the future because we are only seeing what people think that Connor's feeling. Because again, Connor is the prince. He's a fuckboy basically. He's someone. No, he is. Who has these moments of clarity and realization, like, hey, I could be better. But at the end of the day, he's been so used to getting what he wants. But at the same time, he does know that it could be more, like he personally could be more, and it could be because of Lynn, and also because of the way he's treated by his parents, or especially his dad, but also he feels like his mother, he's just another pawn in the scheme and everything. So it'll be really interesting to see how Connor feels. So first off, I want to say that as soon as, because when we went to New York City Comic Con, and we're like, and your old Casey Claire was talking about these characters, and she said his name is Connor. I was like, that is the most fucking lamest ass fucking name ever. So I want to say that I do not like his name. That is the most lamest fucking thing. And because you look at other people's names in this book, they're fucking pretty cool. And like fucking Connor, are you serious?
Yeah, like he has the most normal name out of literally anyone in this whole book.
The most white bread shit I've ever heard. No offense.
Another thing to note is if you've ever read a Cassandra Claire book, you know that she loves third person. This is still in third person. However, she loves writing from like 30 different POVs at any given time. This book only has 2.
It's just the 2.
So it feels a lot closer and a lot more intimate than...
And she had mentioned at Comic-Con that like she really thought she needed to stick to the 2 for the story to hit. And I feel the same way. I feel like if we had gotten Connor's point of view, it would have almost ruined it a little bit. Like the mystery of what's actually going on in Connor's brain, and like
and the reveals that we get, like reveals it would have been lost,
right? Like if you had been following Connor, you would have known those things ahead of time.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have hit the same way.
That's how I kind of feel about, side note, Fourth Wing, because obviously we know, or like, you know, Rebecca Yarros has said that we won't get, what's his name's point of view, Xaden's point of view, because he still has secrets. Well, like, imagine if we had his point of view in the Fourth Wing book, all of that shit would have been like, you know?
Right, you would have known all that stuff. So, like, we would have known about his debt and, like, the contracts and all the other stuff that he does without the like reveal, and it wouldn't have been high stakes because like when those things occur, like it's earth shattering for Kel.
Yeah.
And he has to like evolve around it to continue to do his duty to Connor.
Yeah. I do want to say also that, well, kind of piggybacking off what we just said, that I think it's actually more fun that way. That we will hopefully eventually get that. But I want to ask y'all something real quick. Did y'all, coming into this book, like, okay, I knew obviously there was going to be a romance, and I knew it was Cassandra Claire's first adult romance. Did you think that this romance was going to be just between Kel and Lynn?
I, for a moment, thought potentially, but the first time they interacted, I was like, no. And then when you watch Kel with Antonetta, I was immediately like, that's where it's going to end up being.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Like, almost immediately.
I feel like just because of the POV characters, which that's the other POV is Lynn,
right?
Who we will talk about in a little bit.
There's so much that we
really
could
feel
talk
like
about
it.
in this book.
If it's not between her and Kel, then it's going to be her and Connor.
No, it's 100% her and Connor. Connor is obsessed with her. Like,
fair.
he doesn't...
Oh, no, yeah. No, yeah, by the ending. I guess, from the very beginning, I thought it would have been her and Kel.
Connor
Towards
hates
the end,
Lynn
I definitely do
because he is so
attracted to her.
with her.
Yeah.
And
he's
hates
enraptured.
Yeah.
He has
it's
been
very,
caught,
like...
He wanted to make out with her from the get-go.
It's very Cardan energy.
Yes.
It's giving enemies to lovers.
Yeah.
Not enemies to lovers.
Because they are enemies.
It's not a true enemy. They're not enemies. It is very much a hate to love.
Okay.
Because like she hates him on premise just because he's the prince, and she's
jealous.
Doesn't believe who he
and
is.
she's jealous
and
too,
like,
because
it is
of her
very
grandfather.
much going to be a mutual hatred that blossoms
it's true.
into love.
Her grandfather did pick Prince Connor over raising her and her brothers. So like,
There's a lot. That's
he picks.
Listen,
I think by the end of the book, Lynn understands where Maesh is coming from.
Yes, but I would like to
think she
say when
gets
they
it.
finally have sex, I'm looking forward to it.
It's gonna be good.
Oh, speaking of that, with this being adult, did you guys expect this to be more explicit than it was?
I was
Yes,
not entirely because Cassandra Claire was very upfront about like there's romance, but it's not the main point.
Yeah, but the fact of it being adult and knowing that she's done some types of romance, like some type of like closed, a little bit of open, but mainly closed door and not very descriptive in her YA stuff. I expected more, but
so do I.
What we got was very much more than what she ever
a lot more
did.
than
Like the description, she was saying the specific words that make it adult and very much stray from YA.
Yeah,
that one
And I will
hooker
not
against the
repeat for
wall.
this because I don't. It's uncomfortable. Period.
Yeah.
Slay. But like.
I don't know if she's a hooker. I
think I appreciated that it wasn't like such a big thing. Like one of my biggest gripes with adult fantasy is that when the romance is in there, it's so forced and it doesn't make sense and it's not important and it's just overly graphic for no good reason.
Yeah, like you can.
And I think
feel
this was well done. Like it was still,
sake. Like, we don't need it.
Like you still got the romance and it was enticing, but like it wasn't the main port and it wasn't in your face. I hate when it's in your face.
I feel like it's just gonna get better. Like what we got was enough to keep romance readers wanting to continue the story.
Right. It was like a little. It was a little.
Don't normally read fantasy, but if you're reading a Cassandra
just
Claire
a
book,
little sprinkle.
Yeah,
you know that
exactly.
It's mainly fantasy.
Little
Like,
Salt Bay,
it's always a fantasy.
I think the most wildest thing.
Was it enough for you, Lucia? That's the real question.
Was it enough for me? You know what's really funny is that it took 200 pages for Kel and Lynn to meet. It took 200 and a little bit extra pages for Connor and Lynn to meet. And by that point, like, I don't know how many times that I tried starting this book and I would leave it alone. so many times, and I don't really. It's not that I didn't like it, because I did enjoy it, especially once it started getting going. But the beginning pages, that first 100, 200 pages, not a slugfest. But I was like, "Fuck, I'm struggling here." I would like to.
I feel that, and I think that's like a symptom of new world building, character building.
And I was like, should. It also, like, I know this is an adult novel, but maybe it's because I've read a lot of her other books, that it still felt like young adult to me in terms of the world, even though it's a new world.
Was very approachable, yeah.
Yeah, it's not very high fantasy.
Yeah.
Where it's all world building and info dumping. It's
a nice intro into a high fantasy, because it's not over the top. Like, it's not so much information.
It's digestible.
Yeah.
It's not Game of Thrones where I have to reread a passage 6 times to understand what the fuck was said.
I mean, there's definitely still a good amount of, like,
those names I have to read so many times. I was like, what the fuck?
That is very important. Yeah.
Those names. I would also like everyone watch. Wait, real quick. I would like everyone to know that currently that when we're recording this, it is 6:47 p.m. my time. I personally finished reading this book at 6:01.
I love that.
So there you go.
We're gonna pause for a second so I can switch the internet on this.
Okay.
It's driving me nuts. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
We're like losing you, and I'm struggling to hear you.
Ah.
No, she's gone. There she is.
Hello?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you do this?
I can also hear you.
Ah, beautiful. That should be better. All right. Continue.
But yeah, it's literally 6:48 p.m. my time, 9:48 p.m. your time, and I literally finished this at 6:01 p.m.
Like nothing like leaving it to the
very
last minute.
Literally. And then
in true Mary fashion, I was the first one to finish this.
I had every intention.
I just struggled to read this month. Like, I had, and it wasn't like this book, like, in general, I just could not read.
It'd be like that. I had a couple of months like that.
Anywho.
But let's continue with this book. Who is Lynn?
Who's Lynn?
I love Lynn. I love that she's a firecracker.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, just says whatever, like, no filter, immediately out of her mouth. Constantly. But she's basically part of the Ashkar people Who
are the Ashkar people? Why are they important?
That's where I'm going.
Okay.
They're the only people left in this world that can wield magic, and it's only small magic, and I don't know how to actually pronounce their type of magic that it's called, but they basically are allowed to make little talismans that are supposed to, like, they're charms, basically, protections, healing, whatnot. Mm-hmm. So she's a physician, the only female physician, because normally that's not allowed.
Period.
They love male-dominated practices.
Yes. She's desperately trying to find some way to heal her best friend, Miriam, who's come down with a sickness that killed her dad.
I just took Lucia out of your ear. I'm so sorry.
So Lynn is basically going down any avenue she can in an attempt to help save Miriam. Mm-hmm. And her paths actually cross with Kel because of her grandfather. So her grandfather is the advisor to the king, which is an ancient tradition of the Arulian family, is to have an Ashkar advisor. So basically, Kel is
injured
because
he gets jumped when he leaves the castle.
They think he's Connor.
Yeah, so then he plays up that he is Connor.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, absolutely, even though he doesn't have his talisman.
Mm-hmm. So he gets hurt, and his Mayish, Lynn's grandfather, wants to keep his injury as, like, on the DL as possible. Mm-hmm. So he goes and gets Lynn. But also, that's when Mayish is kind of like, I really do believe you're the best physician in existence.
Yeah.
And that's, like, the journey of Lynn and her grandfather repairing their relationship, or starting to, at the very least.
And
There's
that is
still a lot of hatred.
first instance where Connor's like, why is there a woman here?
Yes.
I hate her.
I hate her on premise.
On premise. But But it's also because of the way that she talks to him.
No,
Yeah, she
it's
doesn't
mostly
treat him like a prince.
She literally told him to get
I
out.
understand you're in charge of me. I understand you are who you are, but get the fuck away from me while I work.
Yeah. She, like, doesn't treat him differently because of who he is.
You want me to save his life? Get out of the room.
So yeah, and there's this subplot where before that she's tending to one of her other patients who that patient slips this stone into her pocket and he ends up dead later, which I want to know more about.
I feel like he's not dead.
And like
Maybe he's not dead.
that's a hot take.
I don't see. Where was no body?
Maybe he was captured.
Yeah.
No body, no crime.
Potentially.
No body, no crime. Everyone knows you got to
But
double
you find
tap.
out that this stone that she's given is actually a source stone from when there was magic in the world. And then as time goes on, you learn that it is the stone of the Ashkar people's goddess, who is the one that saved the world from magic because they were hungry, power hungry.
I
so.
really liked the history behind the learning about the goddesses and you know how she
I loved
became
the,
a
like, little
goddess.
snippets. Yeah.
Mary, did you
got
listen
like
to
little
those?
snippets from their history books at the end of every chapter. And like I think I enjoyed that sense of the world building. Like I liked learning
I agree.
how their magic went away. Like the whole sundering is what they call it when their magic left the world.
Do we believe in reincarnation
But this
in this
whole
world?
time Kel is being approached by these two different crime lords
Fractions?
Yeah.
Factions?
who are claiming that Connor's life is at risk and they have the only information and way to protect him. And it's this whole part of it's kind of a wild goose chase. Like Prosper Beck is just kind of fucking with him.
He reminds me of the
fun.
guy
So,
from
he's like,
from Toy Story.
I could
Prosper.
care less if you're on my staff or not. It would just be more ideal for me if you are.
And he ends up like fleeing after he
Yeah.
gets his money. So basically Prosper Beck is this up and coming crime lord who's not following the rules of crime lordery because the rag picker king and the actual king have like this secret contract where the rag picker king keeps crime within a certain level of crime.
You know what?
And
As long as there's nothing
right,
like,
and the real
too
king just
bad.
lets him do it. It's like
It was giving me
It's kind of
crows.
fun.
It was
Yeah.
giving me crows.
yeah, very crow-like. And so, but
I
Prosper
haven't
Beck
read that
shows
series
up
yet.
and he starts throwing a wrench in everything. And he basically ends up buying Prince Connor's debt from like dressmakers or like tailors.
Whole
and,
houses.
Yeah.
like all the places in town where he has like a tab.
That you learn everyone in the castle knew he had this and were just trying to figure out how to pay that debt.
Right.
And then Kel was the only one that didn't know and was like, what do you mean he owes 10,000 whatever the monetary
so
value
Prosper
is?
Beck is like, he owes me 10,000 crowns. And if he doesn't give it to me, I'm literally going to kill him.
And if not kill him, he'll at least drag his name in the mud.
Right. So when Kel finds out about this, he approaches Connor and Connor's like, yeah, I know. I'm just kind of avoiding it.
And then Connor fucks himself over with the
So then he goes and makes a secret contract with their closest, like the other next city state over, which is Sarth. And like people don't really like Sarth.
They really
They're kind of
don't.
just like tolerating them. The like ties are very strained. But if they don't keep good relations with Sarth, it kind of fucks Castling because it's like their one way in and out that isn't the sea.
So he's like, this age-appropriate woman isn't bad to look at.
Right.
Let me
so he
get into a bargain with her.
Says I'm gonna marry the princess.
But you need to give me her dowry
Right now.
in advance, right now,
Yeah.
in this amount, so I can...
Right. So he
Yeah.
pays his debt and Prosper Beck fucks off because he's got his money.
But Connor didn't realize he was already promised. Literally, is it to Anna Antoinette?
No. He's promised to a princess from
Where his dad
Malagasy,
where his dad went.
which is where his dad was fostered as a child.
His dad is a fucking trip.
But
let me just say that real quick.
right, his
And
dad's
everyone's
a
like,
little. The king's a
yeah.
little
Mad-
he's a little King
Mad
George.
King George.
Oh, King George.
Yep.
themed.
Definitely.
I wonder if it's like magic that's fucking with his brain.
I think
Well, it's weird because like that like philosopher astronomer that was with him like definitely
Was it Falker or whatever his name is?
Faustin or something.
He got
like
eaten
that.
by the croc.
Faustin, that makes more sense.
Like there was something fucky going on there because like the king is like clearly like there's something going on with him and like they think that Connor also has that power because there's like been hints at it where like Connor doesn't know like what he's capable of. Mm-hmm. I think it was Mayish that said something like that to Kellyanne. Like
unless we believe in reincarnation, sort of thing.
Oh, it's very interesting. So like I'm interested more about the king so basically this whole thing goes down at dinner.
It's dinner.
Where like the Malagasy ambassador.
The red wedding.
Like, what do you mean you're very red wedding at the end? But
oh my god, yeah.
So they get in this big fight because the king promised Connor to Malagasy, but Connor's already signed a contract with Sarth, and there's this whole thing, and the king thinks that the astronomer
there was
betrayed him to Malagasy, but the king is convinced that like danger is coming, but no one can get a straight answer out of him because he is kind of mad. And like when he is lucid, it's not like great. So like after this whole after Connor's plot that he did was revealed and he thought everyone was gonna be so happy that he like fixed his own problem, his dad's like fucking with him.
I know.
Yeah.
like
literally,
this is what you get.
And just says, you know what to do, and they whip him until he loses consciousness.
Yes, and that's when Lynn comes back.
Lynn comes back and is like,
please, Stone.
And the mom's like, I know what happened. Minimal scarring, please.
And that's when her stone literally heals him overnight, no scars.
Use me.
She's like, I will do what I can. There will be scarring.
And then
no scarring.
Right, but only Connor, Kel, and Lynn know how well he was healed because they hid it from everybody else.
He fakes that he still needs to have his like bandages changed. And
magic is like heavily forbidden. So like,
why is it forbidden?
Limp and whatnot.
Why?
Because of the Source King.
Well, I know, but
they got power hungry.
But like the audience may not know that fully.
That's fair. That's reasonable.
Because this thing that you read about.
Right. So like the existing monarchies are afraid that the Source Kings will come back. And that's part of the reason that they dislike the Ashkar people. It's a combination of that and jealousy that they still have magic.
This the Ashkar people as well as everyone else gave me high key Attack on Titan vibes. I don't know if y'all know what that is. It's an anime / manga that the anime literally just ended like a week ago after 10 years of airing, sort of thing. But it's not that many episodes. It just sometimes it takes a while. But anyways, the manga ended like 2 years ago. But it's literally these people who can literally turn into giant titans, and because of that, the whole world hates them, and they fear them because of what they can become. Mm-hmm. Now, there's this whole other plot to it, but basically the whole world hates them. At the very end, they are able to not be titans and have that ability anymore. And like, look, we're good. But years later, what does the world do? They get their payback by bombing the fucking fuck out of those people, even though they don't have that ability anymore. But also, they are the people that are scared of them. The one that are Titans is because the Titans used to rule over everyone and literally were like man eaters, and they ruled by terror. But there's so much. There's so much more to it. Holy Jesus! It's literally one of the greatest stories ever told. I recommend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But going back to that bargain that Homeboy made for the wedding betrothal. So he made it with that age-appropriate woman, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
She has this specific title.
And name.
Joke's on him. Anybody could have that title. It's just like the 13th title that this literal, 8-year-old has.
I think she was like 12.
Maybe she's 11.
No, she's still, like 7 or 8.
Literally a child.
Like a literal child.
Single digits, like 8 or 9.
Child, regardless.
Little girl. Like, sweet little baby girl. She does not speak the language that Connor speaks. And she has this bodyguard that is like...
very Brienne of Tarth.
Would die for her.
Very Brienne of Tarth.
Very, very Brienne of Tarth.
Yes. And Cal is just like, I'll speak to you, little lady. Hi.
Because
Connor's appalled that he's like, why you're offended me, but I can't not
reveal this in
her.
front of the public. It's this whole...
It's so fucked up.
I love it. It's
So
just
then
It was,
he's
it was
just
giving
like,
drama.
at least I'm free to be with whoever I want for another
10.
8 years, 10
Yes.
years, whatever. And then the saddest thing is just you don't really learn a lot about this little girl, but you learn
don't.
enough to fall in love with her, only for there to be an attack at the ball. Like, it was ball, right?
it was
Like,
like her welcome.
her
Yeah, it
welcome
was like
dinner.
her welcome party thing. Homegirl gets shot through with an arrow,
Ugh, a crossbow.
murdered,
And then she was just hanging.
dead, like dead, no chance of coming back. Like, sweet baby girl is like so confused, doesn't know anybody around her.
Because she saw her,
And
her
then,
mom get
like a
yoinked?
badass motherfucking bitch. Her guard goes batshit crazy. She also dies though.
Yeah,
right?
well,
She
the king kills her.
But she kills everybody in that bitch.
The king kills her.
She said, "You murdered her."
Yeah, the king killed her, but she was trying to kill the king.
No, I
Yeah,
know,
she's
but
trying
like
to
how
kill-
the
no, she's trying to kill Connor.
the king was able to lift her and like push her against the fucking wall. What kind of
Yeah.
Right,
shit?
so that was... He, like, grabs her sword in his
Yeah,
hand. like,
and then
the
it
blade
was
of her
fine.
sword. And fine, and then, like, literally chucks her at
like
the
what
wall
the
and dies
what
on her
kind?
death.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's more like red flags about the king. There's something weird
That's
going on with
That's
the
why
king.
I think maybe he has magic.
Maybe. But so, yeah, there's this whole... And the... One of the big things is that somebody on the hill, which is what they call their nobility, is basically, like, selling out the royal family. Like, is part of this big scheme to ruin the royal
They said,
family.
"Fuck them bitches."
And that's kind of where, like, Prosper Beck and the Ragpicker King kind of come in. They're, like, trying to, like... The Ragpicker King doesn't want the royal family to go away either because, like, his world doesn't exist without their world.
It was
like,
giving
they're
Arcane.
trying to- yeah, they're trying to, like,
Scratch my back, I scratch.
Yeah.
yours.
work together to figure out where the plot is to, like, stop it. And there's, like, so many questions, and I want to know more.
And both sides were like, "Kel, don't trust anybody but Connor."
Yeah.
like, and barely trust.
No,
Connor.
I was gonna say they
Right.
didn't even say
And
trust
then-
Connor because Connor is apparently going
Yeah.
to fuck shit up too.
Right.
And
Connor's just doing his own thing.
apparently Kel is
And doesn't tell
going
anyone.
to betray Connor, according to
He's not going to betray him. He's going to end up with something that Connor wants.
well,
And Connor's going to hate him for it.
you know what?
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Maybe it's
That's
freedom.
why I feel like it's Lynn.
No, I don't think it's Lynn. No, he.
No, I think it's because at the end of all of this, Kel can just walk away and just... He doesn't... Like, he could just be his own person.
Did anyone else think that at some point they were going to be like, well, yeah, you're his sword catcher, but what if we're going to kill you? Like as soon as he ascends? Like, I know the guy who went and picked him up from the orphanage was Marcus's, the king's sword catcher, basically.
I wonder
like-
if he was the king's sword.
Well,
catcher.
according to what they were saying, that's what this...
Yeah, so according to it, he'd take that position.
Yeah, he would be that next
But
thing.
who knows?
But I was like, what if they
But
kill
then-
Kel?
Yeah. I mean, it's valid. Like, why would you not? Like, the other option is to send this person with all the royal secrets out into the world.
yeah.
Yeah,
Liability.
yeah.
But I love that the Ragpicker King is planting such a seed of doubt in Kel's mind. Or was
Yeah.
it?
Well, Lynn
maybe
does
also
too.
Beck.
At one point, Lynn
Everyone's
is just
just like,
like,
don't
have
you wanna be
ever,
your own
Yeah,
person?
like, have you ever thought about having a real life, basically?
One of my
My life is Connor.
one of my favorite things talking about this is like after that basically weird ass dance party that one of Connor's friends throws is when Connor literally, or like the next morning, Kel wakes up and he's like, "Okay, I gotta get dressed," and then that one chick had sex with Connor, and at first he thought it was Lynn,
Yes.
which was interesting because Connor probably had sex with her because of the red hair, but
Yes.
But they also Kel was thinking of his obviously in his head. He was like, Connor should have known, like why couldn't I have my own thing? Sort of like he was thinking that in his head, and like them like
Yeah.
a little bit. My favorite thing. Always, my favorite thing is when a guy is like, "Yeah, I couldn't stop thinking about you. You're in my head, so I fucked this other person." Now, obviously, Lynn doesn't know he had sex with someone else, but we, as the reader, knows. And
Yeah.
I'm like, get that shit away from me. Like, I hate it. I hate
I
it.
literally have read
So dumb.
I've read a single book called Ruin and Roses.
Oh
by
yeah,
one
I
of
know.
my,
I know that book.
Actual mutuals on TikTok.
Ooh, yeah.
Her name's Dana Ortega. And there's literally a scene where the guy changes the girl he is currently having intercourse with appearance, so she appears like the girl he actually wants to have sex with, and that actual girl witnesses it.
Oh my god.
She like walks in on it happening because it's like in a public field.
Oh my god.
And he like sees her, he either senses her or sees her, and like smirks and like just knows.
Ew!
He's like, she knows that he knows, or she knows that that's like she sees that he's thinking, hoping that it was her. It's like,
Right.
I hate it.
Just one other aspect.
I hate it.
I've read a single other book.
You know what, Sandra?
I hate it. She says, "I'm gonna send Dana that clip when this is released."
Oh my god.
Sandra Brown. I don't know
So-
if y'all know who that is, but I haven't read one of her books in several years. But she would often do
That's
that.
a book y'all should read. It was pretty decent.
Send it to me, or send
liked
me
it.
the link.
So, at the whole time that this storyline with Kel is happening, Lynn has her own storyline too. Like, she crosses in paths with them, but she's very much on her own mission. And she is also recruited by the Ragpicker King because she is looking into
Magic,
these
The Gathering.
books that have magic
The
in
Gathering.
them. And he basically finds out about her source stone. And that's when he's like, oh, I want you on my team. And he helps her find Quasmuna's book, which like has
I swear you're making up these
magic
names.
in it, like forbidden stuff. And that that's how she kind of figures out how the source stone works, and she's able to help Miriam feel better.
Connor gave her that book
Right, Connor ends up giving her that book as
as a
payment.
thank you. Yes, because the first time she offended him also because she didn't accept the ring he tried to give her for healing Kel. So then
It was
as a
the
thank you
pimp
for
ring,
healing
that's
Connor, he brought her the book
Yeah.
she was looking for, and then other shit happened.
Right, so she is able to help Miriam, but not heal her all the way. And while she's helping Miriam, they call him the Shalomah or something like that. He's like their king inside of the Salt, which is where the Ashkar people live within the city. He invades her home and takes all of her books because the magic and all of her medicine books that aren't Ashkar books are forbidden to those people.
Yes.
Like, they're not allowed. So he takes them from her.
But there's a plot point of her literally going and asking him for access to the library so she could learn more
Right.
information. And he's like, no,
He's like, what about your
you're a
grand...
woman.
No, he was like, your grandfather.
You're lucky we let you learn the magic in the first place.
He's like, put a good word in for me with your grandfather.
You don't get to read.
Right. So then they have this tradition where their people are waiting for their goddess to be reincarnated to basically save them from the world that they're in. And every year on this certain date, they have this festival where they ask all of the young females of a certain age
23? 23?
if they are the goddess reborn, because the whole thing is that she'll come back as a woman of the Ashkar people.
Pause for a second.
I think that might be her.
My nose was literally dripping. So sorry.
And then, so it's at this festival, which is the same night as the massacre happening in the castle. Lynn basically devises this plan where she says, I am the goddess reborn, in an attempt to steal her books
And
back.
she knows she was able to
But-
do this because she knows that one of the people
She knew there was going to be an attack.
on the second set, because of the ships,
Oh, yes.
because of
She knew that at the strike of midnight, there was going to be an explosion, and she was going to pass it off as, like,
Yeah, so
her
she-
lightning strike.
Right.
To prove. So she was like, come on, you got to get to me quick. There's no way. And she's like, I'll prove it. Explosion.
It's so funny
And they're
because
like, oh, God.
the whole time that you, like, read about this whole plot line where, like, the Ink Charter family, like, or the Dye Charter family
yeah.
shits on these people selling ink because they're like, you have to pay me for it, and they basically run this family out of business and then out of the city. And you, like, hear these snippets about it. I'm like, why is this important? None of this fucking matters. And then there's this
For the
dude
end.
in the Black Manor when she shows up to talk to the Ragpicker King, who's like, I need this powder, I gotta enact my revenge. And I'm like, why are you important? And then you get to the end and I'm like, oh,
That's why
I understand.
that happened.
So, like, to see that all come together was very fun because it definitely felt like throwaway plot as you're reading it, but it was really important by the end. So we're left with massive cliffhangers. The entirety of the Sarth delegation that was in Castellane is dead.
Yeah.
Lynn is pretending to be the goddess reborn.
I think she might actually be though.
And
Which may
Which
actually be true. We don't know.
reincarnation?
I mean, she has that stone, and like
What
the
if
stone is talking to her. So
What if
like
it's Miriam though? That's a plot twist.
that would
and
be a
she
plot
just needs
twist.
to use the stone to
And
heal
then-
her.
to like top it all off, at the very end, you get the head of the royal guard, whatever, the arrow squad, approaches Kel as he's trying to leave the castle to go talk to the ragpicker king about the assassins that invaded the castle. And this guy is like, I know where you're going, and I'm gonna let you keep doing it, but you have to tell me everything that you hear.
Double agent.
Yeah, so he's like, you gotta tell me everything, and the ragpicker king is like, you gotta tell me everything, and Kel's like, I just want to keep Connor alive.
I just want to protect my mans. Why is
He's like,
it
that's
this
my boo-boo,
difficult?
right?
It wasn't for the last, 12 years?
Yeah.
Like,
But
what's
basically,
happening?
and like the ragpicker king has no idea that anything even happened in the castle. So he was like, this is the plot thickens.
Plot.
What I find really interesting, and they only mention it once, is when Lynn first goes to see the rat picker, or what's his name? The rat. He has an actual name, but whatever. But when she's like first goes to the Black Mansion, Black Wardrobe, whatever place it's called, the Black whatever, is that when she's looking around and she sees some items that are from her people and that are supposed to be
yeah.
like, oh, that should be for the prince of her people. And I was like, what if he's actually secretly, someone this, because for a while, I thought, because obviously we know that her people are, what's the word? They had to leave their homeland. And that's part of the history that we learn in the like the snippet parts of the patches and the other books.
Displaced.
They were displaced because the queen, I don't remember her name. The queen. In order to help and free her people, they needed to leave. But before that, they needed to willingly give their power, or to her, and that's how she was able to get the power in her source stone. Source Stone, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I swear I read this book, Kyle. No, I remember details pretty well, but names, I suck ass at them. Y'all know this. But, and what I thought was really interesting is that it says that they were silenced after that. Does that mean they were no longer able to speak? Is that because magic and words often go hand in hand? Like in terms of magnifying things, you often use your voice. Like, like names have a power to them as well. But anyways, but yeah, I thought, okay, where's the person that meant to be the ancestor of like their goddess? But then we learned that the person who was her right-hand man is actually still alive, because I mean, like, they don't necessarily say he's alive necessarily, but we totally know that some of his things got passed down, like the staff, but it says that he's the guy, I don't remember his name, that was her right-hand man, that he was growing older, but he stayed young. So it made me wonder, how did what's his name get the stone and the other staff, the sword? Where's that sword at? And I wonder if Lynn's grandfather, maybe that sword got turned into like a cane sort of thing. Yeah.
Interesting, yeah.
And again, I'm playing up the whole, because they were talking about souls, how her body disappeared with the magic and everything, but her soul, she transformed more into a goddess. And I was like, in my mind, that means her soul is still free. That means it can be reborn. And again, why is Lynn able to use this power, and why can't she use it on Miriam? But she did on on Connor and on Kel. And I was like, what if they actually are related? Because why do they look similar? And maybe somewhere on one of the other houses, like the bad sorcerers or whatever, they lived a long time. You don't ever know if they were able to get it in and have kids.
Right, yeah.
Like what if? Because they're kind of, in my eye, because I read a lot of romances, they're kind of setting up like, Lynn and potentially Connor are the embodiment of what used to be the high evil source dude and the goddess, but they're, especially with the dreams that Lynn is having and that connection that sexual connection
Yeah.
that they're having, Connor and her. And so I was like, maybe they're setting up for them to be that next one in this day and age that they're in. I don't know.
Right.
So that's fun. That's fun to me.
It's an interesting take, yeah.
That's really fun to me.
I definitely am like sad that we have to wait so long to like find out more.
When's the next one supposed to come out?
Like what, 2 years out that she'll be writing this?
No, I think next year.
Will it be next year?
She's usually one book a year.
I know. I think she said she started
like,
this.
Wasn't there another Shadowhunters book first or no?
No, Wicked Powers is 2025, I believe.
Oh, okay, so then this one would be. Okay.
I think this is next. From my understanding, Wicked Powers isn't written yet. But I'm truly obsessed.
It's Cassandra Claire, though. We
It
expected nothing
is.
less.
Listen, I was really nervous to read this because I was like, what if I do hate it? But like ultimately, while I do love the Shadowhunter world and all of its world building, I truly come back for her characters. And like they're still her characters. Like they're diverse and they're messy and they're not perfect.
Yeah.
And I like her books were the first time I ever actually saw myself in a character. And like a lot of her characters, I see little pieces of me, and that's really validating. And I think that's why they feel so whole and different. So like it was the same in this. Like I see parts of myself in them, and they feel like real people.
Yeah.
And like I love her world building too, but like I read for the characters. Like that's what brings me back every single time.
Yeah, there's so many characters.
If you've read any of her books, it reads like a Cassandra Clare book.
100%.
Like, it is refreshing that it is not at all connected to the Shadowhunters. But I did find myself thinking, oh, are we ever going to, like, connect back to this? No, we won't, because this is a different universe. Because the way it is a Cassandra Clare book. Her dialogue reads all the same between the two of them. Like, just the way that she creates the world and creates the dialogue and creates the characters. It all feels the same, so you know that if you've liked any of her books, you'll like this one, just based off of the writing.
I'm actually really intrigued about if they're ever gonna find another Source Stone.
That's true. Like if the goddess's stone survived, what's to say the rest of them didn't?
Yeah,
it's a valid thought. I'm also like curious about the other artifacts that man had in his home.
Yeah.
Like he had a bunch of stuff like hidden in his floorboards that were like gone by the time Lynn got back. And the landlady said that they were gone when she got there too.
Yeah.
So either she's lying or the people that like showed up took them when they took or killed him.
Yeah.
You know what?
My question.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was changing the subject. You go.
At the end when Lynn's grandfather, he did go to the festival, right? Yeah, he did. At the end.
No, I don't think he ends up at the festival.
He's not at the place that she's at. He's at the palace.
He's in the palace.
Oh, because he chose them.
Because they had that dinner.
But at the end, when she's at the festival, when that one guy is talking, the one who asked her, like, are you? And she's like, yes. I swear to God, I thought, because he was saying, like, oh, we are this people because we wait. And now, I thought he was going to be like, and now it's our time to not wait. I thought he was going to be like, our goddess, Lynn, she's come back. I thought he was going to be like, he's going to say that shit. And then he's going to be like, now we must take back, I thought that, because like before we got to that, when, those, the dinner party that, the fancy dinner party, the one guard got smashed in through the chest, and then we cut to Lynn. I was like, oh shit, are we about to get Lynn's people against the royals or not royals,
Yeah.
But that didn't happen.
I want to know where Kel's talisman comes from, because it is like a passed down relic. Like multiple kings and princes had a sword catcher for generations.
And it's a lot stronger than any other talisman that the Ashkar are capable of making. So when Lynn sees it, she's like, she literally looks at her grandfather and is like, what did you do?
Because
it's almost like it's a slightly forbidden thing to exist.
Well, we know about the one king who had, we heard, I don't remember his name, but we learned about this first Ashkar who was the counselor, and because the one guy was like, I learned all my stuff from this from my friend or whatever he said. So I wonder if that's how far back as it goes. the first, you know.
I would like to learn more, like, the history of his talisman. That would be very interesting.
I want to know more about Kang Jian. Jumped over the walls, killed like 8 people, and you know went away in a black carriage.
Right? GM is a fun character. I hope she.
I want to know why Kel thinks it's okay to go around kissing everybody and anybody.
Listen, that's how he
kisses boys and girls.
He does.
Oh yeah, what did
the gay clause that this royalty has?
Oh yeah,
yes,
you messaged that. You literally messaged
when they're like gay clause.
When they're talking about Connor getting married, Kel is just like, he could marry a woman or a man, and if he marries a man, they'll just bring a woman in when it's time to make an heir. And I was like,
yeah,
oh, all right.
He'll have sex with the woman until she's pregnant, and if it's a boy, it's a boy. If it's not,
I was like,
try it
go
again.
off. You know what? Gay clauses, love it. Love who you love.
Yeah, but also, sorry, husband, I have to go fuck this bitch
unless they
real
turkey
quick.
based it. What if they
You can watch, I guess.
What if they
maybe.
turkey based
So
it?
You have fun. You just can't also have her.
I'd argue
No,
that
you-
both Kel and Connor are canonically bi.
I would also
Yes,
like to,
they're
you know
both
what I
bi.
was thinking, because one hand, that's what they grew up with, and because I think Connor might be bi, and because Kel, quote unquote, forced himself to also like what Connor did, because he got so used to it, he doesn't necessarily, at least in the beginning, had his own person, which is why that one person who he had his first relations with, when eventually she had sex with Connor, and that was like his one thing. Like he even says it to when he was talking about the one poison master maker, whatever he is. He was like, I knew he would let me kiss him, but it was just like nothing, and he hadn't found that one thing. Well, your person is your fucking friend, your childhood friend, which is why he and Lynn are never gonna be, because he's talking that poetic about what's her name, and Lynn and him become a thing later on. I'd be like, that's fucking lame. No, that's not a bromance. Even though I know people have multiple partners in their life sometimes, that's fine. But like, no, I'm taking myself out of fucking frame. Hold on. But I think Connor might be, but also it's because they're just used to it. Like it's nothing, you know. A hole is a hole to them.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it's just very normal, and I like that that's just the norm in this high fantasy world. Like, let's go.
It almost felt like obviously in my head it is, you know, it's a fantasy, but like they were just people to me. Mostly, I think because a lack of magic, because you know got snuffed out. That took away a lot of the fantasy elements. It was more of like a, you know, highbrow drama with, you know, like accessions and the Silk Roads and, you know, learning about the political intrigue of it all, basically.
I do think that magic is coming back
it's
to
going to
WoW.
be so much fun.
Like, that's 100% where this is going.
100%.
I don't think Cassandra Claire is capable of writing a book without magic.
I mean, what good is a book without magic?
Period.
Point blank. There was something else. Oh, we didn't even really get to talk about like other side characters. There were so many characters in this. Like I know we mentioned the Rat Picker. We talked about Prospect, and obviously
It's true. There's like all the charter families, which like their names I could not keep straight, but like they're your like stereotypical nobles who think they're super important because they're
know what they were giving me arcane vibes. Those people would come in and like on the counselor. That's what they were giving me. I don't know.
I feel that.
That's a great show. For those who haven't seen it, it comes back November 2024. Get ready, I'm super fucking excited. But yeah, like I want to know more about the one friend who was like always had that little smile on his face. I don't remember his name, but the one that had the sword at the end at the party. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we were at New York City Comic Con, Cassie Claire, we're talking about how Kel and Connor are on the same side of the coin, but you know, different sides. And you know, the idea of obviously Kel had to learn everything that, you know, Connor knew and for his protection. And I think we kind of briefly talked about it in terms of like a simple, but do you think he will resent it? You know, does he want to make it be his own person? At what point does he need to venture out on his own to find himself? You know, what do you think?
It's very true. And I think like all of these interactions with other people like with Lynn and the Ragpicker King, and then being like, who, like knowing who he is, first of all, that he isn't this orphan noble from a different land, kind of reawakens his like desire to like be a person, but he's not like quite aware of it yet. Like he's still very driven, like, I need to protect Connor.
It's like in his DNA now.
He's slowly trying to peel back and find his own individuality.
Kind of second guessing himself a number of times.
Is Connor really worth it?
Yeah.
And more so, Connor's always worth it in his brain, I think, and he'll always be worth it. It's just more so, is his circumstance worth it?
Right. And I think these moments where, like, Connor did things or, like, had things going on that he didn't tell Kel also is starting to drive that wedge because, like, they're not as close as Kel had anticipated they were or, like, thought they had been.
He was like, I'm already keeping secrets from you, but now to know that you're also keeping secrets from me, when I should know everything, the only way that I can protect you is if I have all the information.
Right.
It's one thing if you don't have it all, you don't need it all. Yeah. I'm the one doing the protecting, not you.
I, however, am expecting this eventual breakup between the two of them to be just as heart-wrenching as Will and Jem, but in a different way.
By the way, I have a theory on who the assassin is.
Yeah.
I think it is Kel's friend from when they were childhood, Cal, the one who gave the marble to him.
Oh.
That's my theory.
The little boy from
the orphanage.
The very beginning.
That's my theory.
I also thought it would be somebody from the orphanage.
When they first described the assassin, I was like, that's the Ragpicker King. Mm-hmm. But then the Ragpicker King was very, like, taken aback.
Mm-hmm.
So, like...
Because
I fully believe that it would be somebody...
But there's also this weird air that they keep saying is coming back for the old man that ended up dying.
Yeah.
So I feel like they could be the same character. Or at least they're connected.
But that man did something awful to the owner of the
establishment
brothel that they go to all the time.
That's fair.
So I'm like, there's so much. I need all the answers.
Because
the orphanage is coming back.
No, it has to, because he literally hasn't been there in 13 years, and he...
Yeah, and like it's mentioned so
too
frequently.
Much time there. Like that's a full chapter or two.
Yeah,
where he's in the orphanage. It's not just general background. Like that's the very beginning of the book.
Like
it easily could have been start in present time, and here's what my background.
But you know what I also think?
And she decided to start the book in the orphanage. So it's going to come back with characters.
You know why? You know what?
Because we don't see them at all. For the rest
totally
of the book.
is him. You know why? Because you know who else? Who was on the seat? Who was out and about? The one guy that we don't like. You know what Kel and Cal wanted to be when they were older, or you know, like what they were dreamed about when they were orphans. They wanted to be pirates. Maybe they met overseas or whatever. I don't remember where exactly that ugly ass guy was at, but he was away basically. Yeah. And so, you know, and again, you know, that would drive a fucking stake through your heart. You're like, oh, I'm dying. Here's this marble that comes out of my hand, or like, oh, we're battling and a marble falls out of my pocket. You know, I'm just saying.
I could see it.
That's the guy. That's my theory.
And with that, we leave you. How did you guys feel about this book?
5 out of 5. I'm obsessed.
3 out of 5. 3.5 out of 5, honestly. I wanted more from it. I think the next book will be better.
What did you want from it? Like the sex scenes or what?
No, it still very much felt like
YA.
I wanted more adult content. It felt very YA still. It just had more explicit content in it. It didn't feel very adult in its action and in its writing. It still felt the same.
I think what's important, the distinction is the characters aren't in the YA age range.
The characters are adults.
They are
in their 20s, like mid-20s.
Like
24.
What did I say to you guys, like, when I first started reading this? Oh, because we were talking about, like, the poster in the book, and I was like, they look like they're fucking teenagers. Where are my manly ass men at?
Yeah.
And what
that was like the very first thing you said.
It is, but to be fair, you learn later why Kel is always clean shaven, and it's because Connor likes to be clean shaven.
Like, I don't.
And that's usually how. You're
telling me
men
Kel
look
wants
older.
to have a full beard?
Maybe he could be a beard person.
I like me a beard.
How would you rate the book, Lucia?
I don't rate them like y'all do, though.
I know you don't. Did you like it?
After I got over my 200-page slump, yes.
Yeah. Like, on a scale of would never pick up again to would recommend to anyone, where do you feel? Like, you would recommend it to some people, it was a book and you read it. Like, how are you feeling?
I don't feel like it was a book and I read it, because if I felt that way, I wouldn't have so many intriguing questions and wondering about the next book.
Yeah.
So that's no, that's not it. And
It's higher.
yes, it's higher than that.
Higher than neutral.
I feel like a lot of times with first books, like, obviously I feel like this book got its backbone considering it is a Cassandra Claire book, you know? And so a lot of people are going to read it for that reason alone, and the fact that it's her first adult book, so people are intrigued for that. But if this was just someone coming in for the first time ever and never reading it, they might be like, okay, you know, that's fine, you know? Because there's so much to it. You know, these names are intense for me, y'all. Y'all already know I'm bad with names, so these alone, I was like, what the fuck? But I'm also really interested in the history. You know, like, if she had a book with just a history of, like, back time ago with the lover, and she get the
Right.
whatever she is, queen / goddess, you know, I want to know more about that shit.
There's a chance we'll get it. We are talking about a woman that just keeps writing and writing.
Yeah.
But I am in the same boat with Mary in that I wish there was a more distinction between YA and adult, in the fact that I know she's a doctor, so I know she has to be an adult, you know? But it still felt like a YA book to me.
I can understand that.
But I still liked it.
Honestly, I think my biggest gripe with this book is the cover. And I understand why they did it, but tell me why Cassie Claire is bigger than the title of the book.
That's such a fantasy thing, though. I see that a lot in the adult fantasy section.
Is it, though? I've really only noticed it for this one.
I see it all the time.
But, like, I feel like this is just as, like, telling. Like, at least make the title bigger than her name. I understand why they did it, so you know that this is a Cassie Claire book. You're gonna like it, so read it. It's just not Shadowhunters. But the cover itself tells you that it's not Shadowhunters.
There's a lot of things that I can't wait to read. Number one, what is the mystery behind the king, and is it like a did he find a source stone? Did he find one? Does he have some inkling of you know, magic in his own blood? You know, is there that? Is there actually reincarnation? Is that why there's this whole destiny? They don't talk about destiny, but they talk about written in the stars, and so no, maybe. But there's a lot of questions, and I can't wait to see who gets double and dropped and stabbed. You know what I'm looking forward to, and it's something that I asked Cassandra Claire when we went to New York City Comic Con. You know, will we get our hearts broken reading the series? And she basically says yes. You know, at one point or another in one of the books, and so I look forward to that. You know, I didn't cry at all in this book. I really did.
She has a special art for ripping your heart out.
Jem and Will, you know, fuck the other chick. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not kidding. But I'm intrigued to know what else. So, would I encourage someone else to read this? Sure, why not? But I also would tell them that there's going to be a while for the next books, so I will wait until the series is done and then recommend them. You know?
That's super fair. I hate waiting for books.
Well, because I feel like especially if this is someone's first time reading one of her books, that they might not be like all up in the sauce. You know, they're like, well, it's fine, but like I'm not gonna be like about, you know. So wait until the series is done and then you go on in, you know. But anyone have anything else to say?
Oh, here's my collection of books, though.
What is our next book gonna be?
You got it in your hands right
yes,
there.
I do.
Iron Flame.
Yes, did you finish it already, Mary?
No, I don't even know. I'm like 45% of the way through.
Okay.
I'm 55, I think. Still, I'm a good chunk in.
I'm like scared to read it.
A lot and not a lot happens. That's all I can tell you.
What if I hate it?
Right? The fourth wing.
Based off the review one of my friends just gave me, it's up in the air.
Oh.
I'm enjoying it.
I've seen some videos that are just like make me nervous. Like, they're not spoil or videos. I'm just like, what do you mean?
I'm stressed for the ending because I've heard that is what people are like, oh my god, oh my god.
Okay.
And I'm like, what happened?
I'm refusing to get spoiled, so I guess I'm intrigued. For the readers, or sorry, the watchers that are watching this, my dumbass thought my book was gonna come in until Monday the 13th. My book came in on the 9th. And this book came out on the 7th. Now I have 2 copies of the Black Edges, and
that just means that you can either sell it for profit in a couple months, or you could probably entice people to watch by doing a giveaway.
Oh, you know what? No, but maybe actually. But at the very least, I thought I was like, what if I don't, and I fucking haven't even opened it yet. That was the point.
Yeah.
Anyways,
right,
yes, this was Lucia.
Katie.
And
this was our
and all of the
and
editions.
Cassandra Claire's sword swallow, vagina, sword catcher.
Swallow.
Breast.
And this was Book Talk, and I hope you all have a very great one. We will see you all next time. And for those who celebrate, happy holidays. Bye. Bye.
Bye.